Right guys, welcome back to another video, and today let's talk about some basketball. So today basically I'm just going to get straight into the video. Today I wanted to talk about some questions I have for people from America, and you can answer them in the comments if you'd like. I'm just going to be asking questions that pop into my head when I think about the NBA, from a British person's perspective, from someone that's watched football all their lives, watched basketball in England all their lives. And if you could put it in the comments, that would be very useful. I could also just look them up, but I thought it was an interesting video idea. And hopefully we'll get some clicks. But let's see how that goes. Anyways, let's start the video now. So my first question is, why is it okay for players to go to your rival teams? For example, why is it okay for a player like Lamar Odom, for example, to play for the Clippers and then play for the Lakers? See, in England, no one would be okay with that. Like, why is it okay for Rajon Rondo to play for the Boston Celtics and then go and play for the rivals, win a championship with both teams, for the Lakers and the Celtics? In England, that wouldn't be a thing. Like, you see that those players are hated, but still, like, Rondo is still liked at the Celtics by me and other fans as well. So why is that? Because we've seen that, especially in football. I don't know if anyone watching this will get this, but when, like, Carlos Tevez moved from like Manchester United to Man City, everyone hated him, who was a Manchester United supporter, and they still hate him. So why is that a thing? Like, is it just okay because it's just business? Is that what happens in American sport? Another thing I have, which is linked to that, why is it okay for your players to move around so much? Like, for me, I love players like Jamie Vardy, who, if you probably don't know, to be fair, is stayed at Leicester for like 10 years nearly and been there for his whole career. Like, why is it that not really many players do that? Like, I get it's a business, but is there a reason? Is it just not in the culture to stay at one team? Like, people hate that Damian Lillard doesn't move. Why? I would love that if I was a Blazers fan, that he is stuck with us. I'd love if Bradley Beal was stayed with us. Obviously, it's because of the money that they can give him as well. But I'd love that as a player and as a fan. Like, I'd love that affection and stuff. So why do players just move around so much? Is it just like, why did Shaq move around to so many different teams, so many different like places? Is it just because, is there no like loyalty there or anything like that? Or is it just not really a thing? My question is, as well, how come your rules aren't enforced? Like, you don't enforce certain rules anymore. Like, I get it's because of a show and stuff like that, but why is it okay to just blatantly travel for no reason? See, where I'm from, we can't do that in basketball. Like, you just get called for a travel straight away if you do anything like that. But in the NBA, you can just travel as much as you want, pretty much, like 3-4 steps. We've seen so many players do it over the past couple of years, and it's a bit crazy, to be fair. Another question I have is, I don't really get the basketball like number retirement sort of thing. Like, for certain players, like, I guess, but like in football, for example, we don't have any players number retired, I don't think. Not many teams do anyway. Even like some of the greatest players of all time, like, I don't know, but Lionel Messi's shirt at Barcelona is not retired, if I'm correct. But the Celtics and the Lakers have so many, and I love all those players, but I think it'd be a cool thing to do in England. But I'm just trying to understand, is it just to show appreciation? Is it just to show that the like franchise cares about them and remembers them? And I also find something very strange as well, is how much the past is talked about in basketball. For example, in football, like previously, like before the 2000s, it's not really talked about. But in the NBA, we talk about players that played in the 70s, 80s, 60s, even 50s sometimes, which is a bit crazy to me. Obviously, the NBA hasn't been going as long as like the Football League, stuff like that. The Football League has been going for 150 years plus, if you didn't know that as an American fan. It's been going for a long period of time, and a lot longer than basketball, the NBA, has been going on anyway. So is it just that? Is there because there's so much history in football that you just can't cover everyone? And the NBA has quite a short history in comparison? Is that why you can talk about these players from like the 50s and 60s, like Bob Pettit, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, all of these players who I know as someone from England, even I know them. But if you asked me to name a footballer from the 70s, I would have absolutely... Actually, I think I'd have a small chance. but not much recollection from the 50s or anything like that. I wouldn't be too knowledgeable. Maybe that's just me being a bad football fan. Maybe. But that is my question. Is it just like a big thing in history, like the American sports where you just do that? Another thing I don't get is why the Jumbotron? What does it do? Because what is it, just a fun family outing if you guys are dancing on the screen? Like, watching it from my perspective, it's not the funnest thing ever in a timeout. I'd rather hear, like, in Eurobasket, for example, when they, like, zoom into the team huddle and stuff, and you can hear what the coach is saying and stuff like that, and he's drawing up the plays. I think that's personally a lot more interesting than seeing some American people dance on a screen. I know that's probably going to come off bad, but that's just my opinion. Like, would that not be better? Would you not like to see more tactical analysis? Maybe that's just me watching like League Pass and stuff like that, and maybe it does on like your news networks and stuff like that. From where I'm sitting, it's a bit annoying, to be honest, because if you try to do that at a football game, that is a thing that you guys do. You do a Jumbotron thing where you guys dance and stuff. If you try doing that at a football game, it's getting smashed, probably. To be fair, that would not be a thing. Football games are so serious for fans that they would not take that well. It's not the same group of people, really. It's not really a family atmosphere when you go to a football game in England. It's more of a very serious, this is a war kind of mentality, because people live their lives, live and die by football. And I know there's a lot of American fans that live and die by basketball, NFL, even baseball, ice hockey. They all love it, but it is extremely serious. And like, if you go to somewhere like Manchester and wear like a Man City kit out, and Manchester United fans in a certain bar and stuff like that, it might not be a fun time for you. It's a lot more serious, in my opinion, in the UK for football. Another thing I don't really get is, why do you call it World Champions? And that's a lot of, when I get asked why, because I'm an NBA fan in England, I get asked quite a lot by people I know, why is it called the World Championships when they're only playing in America? And I don't really understand. Like, could you not do like the winner of the NBA plays the winner of like the Europe competitions or something like that, like EuroLeague or something like that? Couldn't you do the winners of them play each other and they're the world champions? But then you got the South American League and stuff like that, and it's already confusing. So why do you call it the World Champions? Like, when we have the Champions League, it's Europe, so you call it Champions of Europe. When you've got the World Cup, you call it the Champions of the World. When you call it the Premier League, you call it the Champions of England. So why, when you win the NBA, which is an American and Canadian basketball league, why do you call it World Champions? I don't get it. And I'm just asking questions. But these are some of the questions I have. If you want to answer them in the comments, I'd personally appreciate it. If you have liked this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching. These are my questions from someone from England's perspective watching the NBA and love the sport, so thank you. I really do appreciate you.